Welcome back to Dryhollow Homestead. It's Danielle, and I'm going to bring you along on just a normal morning with tons of mess. I have just come back in from milking, showing you some of the things going on in my kitchen, just in case you think that the little corner of my world that I show YouTube is all that I have going on. You probably have some places in your house that is cluttered, and that's me too. Our dryer has gone out, so we're drying next to our wood stove in the living room, which adds to a little more chaos than normal. So I'm back in from milking, got 2 gallons. Daniel had been on my back while I was outside, and he had fallen asleep, so I laid him down very gently on his little pillow in the living room on the floor. He can roll now, so he has to stay somewhere safe at all times because he wakes up and rolls immediately. So I am getting lids on these jars. These jars, lids with the handles, these are cheap ones that I got off Amazon, but they're not that great. So I have a Country Line mason jar lid that is awesome with a great handle. It's really nice and sturdy. These are not it. And I can link the Country Line one down below because they're actually on sale. I just picked up a couple more off Amazon. But I highly recommend not going cheap like I tried to. So anytime I bring my bucket in, wherever the bottom of my bucket lands in the kitchen, I clean it with bleach water solution. So that's what I'm doing right here. I spray it real well, and then I wipe it down with paper towel after a few seconds of it soaking through, just because the bottom of my bucket is the only place that can be dirty from milking. So I do that in here on the kitchen table and in my sink when I'm finished with my dishes. So when I come in from milking, I wash the dishes inside my milking bucket because I already have that full of hot soapy water to wash it. I might as well wash all the dirty dishes that are in my sink. And guess what? We're a family of 8, and there is constantly dirty dishes because we do not have a dishwasher. Maybe someday soon we'll be able to get something worked out with a dishwasher, but right now this is what we're doing. So this was actually Valentine's Day, and the day before my husband came home with roses for me and his daughter, Daisy. Daisy and I. She got pink roses and I got red roses. Usually we pick out roses from the David Austin catalog, and he orders us those instead of cut flowers. Okay, today is actually Valentine's Day, so I'm trying to make some cinnamon rolls shaped into hearts. So I have written down in my notebook my farmhouse rolls, which is what I also make into my cinnamon rolls. But whoever wrote this me from several years ago didn't give very good directions. It's been a really long time since I've made this. So we are going to do it. I know we need to melt the butter. This is just for the dough itself. We're going to melt the butter, which is 1/4 cup. Did that. And then we're going to warm 1 cup of milk. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in here and warm it. I'm pretty sure I also add the sugar at this point. So it was 1/4 cup of butter. We're going to add 1/4 cup of sugar. And we're going to have that 1 cup of milk warmed. And then I'm going to add the yeast to this. So I don't want it to be too hot. I might actually let this cool down for a second. I just want it warm. And then I'm going to do 2 teaspoons of yeast. 2 teaspoons of yeast going in. We're just going to mix it. I've got the heat off, so it shouldn't heat up any more than this. And I'm going to let this proof. Make sure I haven't killed the yeast. So I'm going to let it bubble up and make sure it's still good before we add it to our flour. To a large bowl, we are going to add 3 cups of flour. 1, 2, 3 2/3 cups of flour. And don't worry about writing this down. I will actually put this in the description box. And 1 teaspoon of salt. Whisk this together. Give it a good whisk. Okay, this milk, sugar, and yeast mixture has foamed up. That is proving that this yeast is good. I did not kill it, so I'm going to go ahead and mix it in, add it to our flour and salt. Now this is an enriched dough. It has milk. It has actually 2 eggs. These are finally getting some fresh eggs from our chickens. So we're going to mix it all together now. That is all the ingredients for the dough. Once I get it mixed this way, I'm actually going to put it out on the counter and knead it for 5 to 7 minutes. So I'm going to mix as well as I can with just a spatula in the bowl here, and then I am going to dump it out, my dough out onto the counter and knead it. I could have done this in my Bosch mixer, but I enjoy kneading sometimes. I love the feel of the dough in my hand, and I don't mind doing it very often. I also don't like getting my Bosch mixer out. For quite a few of my recipes, I like just having a big bowl. If they're sourdough, I don't really need a whole lot. So I find that having a big bowl instead of my big mixer out is something that I usually do. I have someone talking with me. So I was actually not taught growing up how to knead bread. This was actually taught to me by my neighbor who has since moved. But you use the heel of your hand to push and pull. You push the dough against, away from you, and then you pull it back up. It was quite sticky, so I added a little flour to my surface to keep going. But I love the feel of dough in my hands, and that's one of my favorite things about being a home cook in this kitchen. While this is happening, this is still a school day. I am homeschooling my children, so I have someone behind me reading to me as I am working this dough.
Having a good time. Some men will play.
So you want to get a bounce back. That's how you know you have done enough kneading to the yeasted dough, and the gluten has been activated enough. That is what you're looking for, a bounce back. What's 7 plus 5?
12. Farmhouse. New. But it's that. So
you have
borrow.
2. No, we don't borrow for addition. You have to carry. So you carry the tins. Okay, so we have our dough done. We are going to let it set in a oiled or greased bowl with oil, and we're going to put a cover over it, towel over it, and let it sit for 1 hour. Okay, this has risen for an hour. Punch it down a little bit. I'm going to get it out. I'm going to spread it out. Let's see. You need brown sugar and warm butter. Oof, hair going everywhere. And cinnamon for these cinnamon rolls. Now, because we're actually celebrating Valentine's today, I'm going to make an effort. I'm going to make an effort at making these into hearts. I have not done that before, but we will see. Okay, baby on the back. Now we won't have any fussing for a minute. All right. And I can link one of these European style rolling pin. I really think it makes a difference when you're trying to roll things. I'm never going back to our American version, that's for sure. Oh my, oh my. Okay, so let us spread some warmed butter. This is just room temperature butter. Daniel, what's the matter? Spread that out. I'm going to make some for my family and my neighbor's family because my neighbor gave me some mac and cheese in a dish a few days ago that she had extra of. And around here, you never want to give back an empty dish. So if somebody has given you something, it's a really good practice. Just giving them something when you return it. Maybe that's a Mennonite thing, but that's definitely how my neighbors are, and I have come to start doing the same thing too. Well, there we go. Spread all over. This is store-bought butter because I'm not getting a ton of cream right now. And now we're going to sprinkle cinnamon. Now we're going to sprinkle some brown sugar. All over. Now this is sweetened bread anyway, and it has sugar in this bread. It's got some eggs. There's lots of good things in here, enriching this. All right. And you can go like this, just to make sure it's everywhere. Are we talking, Danny, baby? Are we talking, Daniel? Hmm? And then we're gonna sprinkle some cinnamon all over the dough also. Huh? Yeah. All right, we are ready to roll. I think I'm gonna roll up this end first. Now I did not flour my surface when I did this, but that is because when I put my dough in my bowl, I had oiled the top of my bread dough, or my cinnamon roll dough. So I knew that it would probably have extra on it. It wouldn't be too sticky. And when you can get away with that without more flour, try. Doesn't work for everything, but the more flour you have, the more dense your end product will be. Yes, my goodness. I have seen people use like dental floss or thread, but I don't. I just go ahead and do it this way. I know. Daniel, are you talking? Okay. All right. I went ahead and did this recipe into fourths, and then I think I'm just gonna do that. Now, these are pretty big. Let's try making the, nope, not gonna do that. We will make it, no, that's not really gonna work. Make it like that, maybe. People had unwound these and then actually rolled each end up to make a part, but because this is homemade and there's lots of butter, I really don't want to do that. So we will see if we can do it just like that. I will show you my end product. Now, because not all of these are for me, for our family, I'm going to do the good ends. I'm going to save these ends for my pan because, you know, doing it for other people, want it to be really nice. Okay, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those ends are always kind of bulky anyway. All right. They have a smaller family than we do, and she gave us a small container here that I'm trying to fill back up, so I don't know how many I'll end up getting in there. so far. They're beautiful though. This whole effort of making them hearts kind of makes it not as pretty, but that's okay too. Oh no. Right. So this recipe is going to make 24 cinnamon rolls. Okay, those have risen enough. We're going to go ahead and put them in the oven at 375. I'll let you know how long it actually takes when it's done. It's been about 25, 30 minutes. I'm not 100% sure. These look good. Go ahead and get them out and start letting them cool down. We're going to let them cool completely before we put our topping on. This glass container, you can actually see around the bottom to see how done they are. And then again, I like my stoneware quite a bit. Okay, so I'm trying to make some kind of little glaze for our cinnamon buns. So I'm just doing powdered sugar, some milk, vanilla, and a little bit of salt. I'm just going to do that until I get a consistency and taste that I like. So it's just totally going to be a glaze. I usually do cream cheese. Sorry, somebody's got change behind me. I usually do a cream cheese icing, but I don't have cream cheese right now, and I'm not going to be making any right now. So this is what we have.